Okay, guys. Obviously, not everyone can be here because, yeah, you know, so we're missing Fanny and Lovemore, I think. But we're at least a good group or a good amount of the whole group. So, I'm gonna explain kind of what happened from. I'm gonna try to explain it in a non-biased way, but if you disagree for it, just feel free to let me know. So earlier this morning, and to be clear for it, I'm gonna talk about what happened, but this is more of like a larger issue, but so people understand, okay?
Yeah.
Earlier this morning, I was talking to Forehead, and I was kind of talking to him about the whole key situation and how I personally think that if we do anything where we know we're going to be away from the house for a while, we just go store the key in our apartment. That's simple. And I don't know what, I mean, you can tell, I guess, what your opinion was on that at the time, just so it makes sense for them.
I mean, just say what you gotta say, and then if I
okay,
say I
just don't want to put words in your mouth. That's it. But okay. And Forehead kind of, I guess at the time you didn't really agree with it. You didn't think it was a big deal. The point I was coming from is we all put in a lot of time and work to make sure that we fucking, you know, invest in shit that gets us somewhere and we can do stuff. And I personally would hate to have that taken away because one of us is sloppy. I mean, it already almost happened with Ming. And I'm really not looking to point fingers here. That's not the point of this. But I think the point is that I think we can all do a better job of making sure we are taking the right approach to making sure shit doesn't go kind of south. Because everything risks on one key and then we're all fucked. And for me, it's not an individual thing. I think everything I do, I see as a group thing. Like I go to sanitation so we can get a computer together. Like that's how I view it. Whatever. And I basically told Forehead that if he wants to have his key on him and he gets robbed, that's fine. I'm out. Like I'm not going to deal with that if that happens, because we could make sure that happens by not just having the key on us. It's that simple. And yeah, whatever. And then later on, me and Ming were down here. Forehead comes in and says, "You guys have to be quiet. The guy is coming in." And I go up and look, and a guy is basically walking around up here carrying parts inside. And I asked him, "How long have you known Forehead?" And he says 2 days. And that's basically when I said, fuck it, I'm out. I don't want this shit. Like I put too much time and risk on the line for having people we know for 2 days go around inside the house. And especially like leaving the door unlocked. I know it might seem really pedantic, but for me it's principalistic. And if that's kind of how we look at it long term, then I personally don't want to deal with that. And then yeah, Forehead and I had a bit of an argument. You can explain your side of it, obviously, but we basically landed in that, like, at least me and Forehead, we think differently about these kind of things, and it might be good that we as a group decide.
Bro, is this guy trolling
how we want things to be
This
forward.
guy's so annoying,
Do we
bro.
want people to have access to the house? Like, do we want to let people in on the top floor? Should we put away keys when we're not here? Like, what is the opinion of people? And that's kind of what we're having this meeting. Now, you can explain your side of the shit, I guess.
I mean, with the guy coming to the house, I just said to the guy, listen, just put it upstairs. And I came downstairs, I told them, watch out what you're saying, because there's somebody upstairs dropping parts off. But, you know, we have this door here, the place is locked down. I just got the guy to drop parts upstairs. That's really it. And I told the boys, like, look, somebody's upstairs dropping parts off. Watch out what you're saying. I didn't think it was a big deal, but if everyone else thinks it's a big deal, then, you know, obviously I'm not going to do it again, you know?
So, for me personally, the reason I think it's a big deal is because I personally, until we have this shit kind of locked down, I don't want us to let people we barely know into the house. That's kind of my opinion. And if people don't agree with that, we can do it differently. But that's what I think. This door is never fucking locked. And I just don't want random people in here when we have all our money invested basically in this property and everything in here. I guess, like, I don't know. How do you guys feel about the whole shit of like keeping this place secure or letting people in or keeping our keys secure? Like, what's your guys' opinion? Because listen, I like working with all of you. I think we make a good team, and I like what we got going on. But for me, the reason I was like, yeah, if this is gonna be how it is, then I probably can't do this long term. Is because I have a goal in mind. I know where I want to be. I don't want to be a fucking runner for some bitch. I want to make things happen, and in order to do that, we need to have kind of tight OPSEC around the house, and we need to take this shit seriously. And I don't mind, personally, if people are out fucking going crazy or risking shit. But as soon as you put that risk on the house, you're risking everybody's work, and that I don't agree with personally. How do you guys feel about all that shit?
I feel like this problem, it could be scaled at a larger scale. So my head is, I would rather us have a finished upstairs, like a spot where we're comfortable with people coming in than just having them willy-nilly try to map out our spot here. But I don't think this situation was that big of a deal here, but I understand where it could be a problem.
Well,
in any other instance.
Let me interject, right? So here's the thing. A guy comes in here and he's dropping out. I'm assuming he's dropping off car parts, right? Like you said, Forehead?
Yeah.
All it takes, right, is one competent cop for this guy. This guy goes, hey, he gets busted chopping cars. He goes, I don't know, you know, he got loose lips, and he said, I'm working for Forehead. He fucking dropping him off, and we dropping off in his house, right? Now, right, if the cop is competent and taking notes, and you get busted with some shit, I don't know. It's pretty easy for a competent cop to articulate that there's shit in here for them to fucking be like, oh my God, 2 or 3 times you get busted. Guess what? There ain't no way that a competent cop ain't going to be able to write a raid warrant, right? Next thing you know, they coming in here for car parts, which you think is a small thing, but then the entire operation is collapsed. I mean,
there's that side of it, yeah.
It ain't no big thing, right? It's one small thing. But I mean, one small thing adds up to another, and then another, and to the point where we get the domino effect, and that small thing's gonna cripple every motherfucking thing we do.
Yep. Again, like, my point is kind of this, that I don't care what risk people take or how they want to work with people, but when it comes to shit we do together, we're risking everyone's shit, and I don't want to work for that. That's kind of my point. And I agree that this instance, like, I think initially it kind of seemed like, oh, I got so pissed at this, so now I'm gonna leave. That's not it. It's just that, like, if that's how it's gonna be, then I know long term it's gonna cause issues, and I don't want to work under those premises. That was my point.
Okay. Well, the reason I said that was because before this happened, Aki calls me up. He's like, yo, Ford, you got your key on you? Talk about keys, right? And he's like, you know, if one of us gets caught lacking with the key, I'm gonna leave. That's what he said, pretty much. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but...
That is what I said, yeah.
Yeah, he said if one of us gets caught lacking with a key, he's leaving, okay? And now this happened, which I can agree with, right? If you guys, you know, at the time I didn't think it was a big deal, but I can definitely see how it could be a big deal, like, yeah. And then when that happened, he wanted to leave again. So to me, it just seemed like, I mean, me and Naked spoke about this. It's not like, I know now that's not what it is, right? But at the time, to me, it seemed like he was trying to find any reason to just leave, right? Like, he wasn't happy being here, and he just wanted to leave for any reason.
Yeah.
And
that's
anything.
Not all the case.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying how I felt at the time, right?
Yeah. I think the thing for me is, like, the reason I said that shit was because it's so easy for us to make sure we don't have our key on us. Like, when I go do sanitation, and I know I'm going to be doing that for like 3 hours, I leave my key in my apartment. And like, it's, you know, because someone could just rob me, and then we all get fucked. And yeah, I mean, I look at us as a group, not a single individual, and it's important for me that all the work that everyone does doesn't get fucked. That's basically it. And if you can take measures to make that happen, it's fine. The reason why I was upset was not because that shit happened, that the guy came in here. It's because when I confronted you about it, you kind of didn't see my point in the slightest, and that's, to me, in my head, then that's clarified that, like, okay, this is not going to work long term because you're not going to kind of see why I think this is important. But that's why. It has nothing to do with me wanting to leave. I don't want to do that. So, but yeah, how do you feel, Ming, about the whole OPSEC situation and the house, and like how we do stuff as a group and stuff like that?
I mean, I learned my lesson, man. Every time I go and do shit, I put my key away now. It only takes like 2 minutes to go run up to your apartment, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that person that just, you know, always hides their fucking key whenever they, you know, have to. But I mean, that's kind of what it's come to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same with Ming. I don't want to be that guy, but if you have to do it, we have to do it, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, trust me, I don't want to do that shit either. I mean, on the flip side too, all it takes is this guy waiting outside with 6 people on our roof and jumping us when we exit the house, and we can't do anything about it.
Bro,
but
I'm telling you, my phone is literally been just blasted, bro.
I just think that when it comes to fucking around and taking risks, that's fine as long as you assess the risk and you're like, will this affect only me or will this affect everyone if I get fucked for it? And if it will affect everyone, don't do it. In my mind, that's what I feel. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's how I see it.
I mean, we can do dumb stuff and get away with it by ourselves, but we're doing dumb stuff at the assumption of everyone else here working together with you, not, getting away with it, then we can't fuck that up. Yeah, we gotta move smarter.
Yeah, that's what I think. And then, like, to be clear, like, my opinion isn't that we should never let anyone into the house. I just think that with how it is right now, it doesn't make sense to let people in here. And especially if we have people down here that can help you carry that shit. That was kind of my point.
I mean, once we have it all set up, it's not too bad to let them up top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we can have doors and shit that kind of... I mean, that door's kind of fucked right now. But.
Well, listen, the way I look at it, right? To me, like, okay, the way I see this house, the upstairs to me is a house, right? I mean, if I want a friend over at my house, it fucking comes inside the house. But obviously, the downstairs is off limits to me, right? Like, that's why it's blocked off. It's off limits. And you guys were down here, so I said, listen, there's someone upstairs. Just, watch out what you're saying, right? I didn't intend for them to come downstairs. That was not the intention, right? The intention was to go upstairs. I want to treat the upstairs like an actual house. Like, we want to invite people over, have meetings with them. We should be able to, right?
I think the difference is, though, like, you've known that guy for, like, what, 3 days?
Yeah.
I think if it was somebody like Vinny or, somebody you've known for a while, then it's, like, fair enough. But who's to say that guy's not going to pull a knife on you, just fucking bring you down here?
I mean, I get that, right? But I'm just saying, I want to treat the upstairs. I don't know if you guys agree with me on this, but I want to treat the upstairs like it's a fucking house, not like.
Well, I want to do that when it's all set up here. It's a goddamn.
I agree with you, Desmond. But for me, it's like, yeah, I want to treat it like a house too. But I'm gonna, cause it's like, yeah, it's a house, but it's also our stash with everything we have. And I'm personally never gonna let anyone I've known for 2 days, 3 days into the house. I'm never gonna do that. For people that I'm friends with, that's different.
It takes the word of like one guy going on to another guy, and then what we get jumped.
How much money and car parts do we have up top?
I don't know, like 2K, 3K.
Right. So I mean, if I hear, let's say some motherfucker, I hear somebody be like, "Hey, this is guy was at his house earlier. He got fucking 3K with the fucking parts." Right. I mean, $3,000 is a fucking lick. And
well, it's not even that though, dickhead. It's like, we have blueprints for like 10 grand. We have materials for like 5 grand. It's.
I mean, it goes on further, right? So I mean, here's the thing: 2 to 3K. That's a lick, right? I'm like, hey, where's this?
3K in the living room.
Yeah, just in the living room. I'm saying I would fucking rob a motherfucker for $3 grand with a knife. Yeah. If I find out where this house is, I'm hiding in a bush till this motherfucker come home with the knife. I'm sitting there, and the second he pulled up with his key, I'm pulling my knife and I'm robbing his ass. Right? I'm only in there for $3 grand. Next thing I know, I go on, I explore around. Shit, I just hit the biggest lick of my life. I go downstairs, I find all this shit, I fucking jack this shit, or maybe I come back later, I take the most expensive stuff, I got the key now, I wait, I get a crew, I fucking clean that motherfucker out.
I mean, to be fair, in Forehead's defense, in this situation, Ming and I was downstairs, but for me, it's more principalistic,
I mean, is it not a spot like in the backyard or something? A guy like that can just drop it off real quick.
I mean, look. I don't listen. I'm not gonna do it again, right? It's just, we don't have to discuss like. I'm not gonna let somebody else in the house again. If obviously, like, if everyone's against it, then it is what it is, right? It's just my house.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
There's no point of
we don't have to
keep bringing this up when we're not gonna do it again, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a waste of time. You're right. But I guess that's kind of why we're having the meeting. So we can agree. So do we? My question then is: do we agree that we can invite people up on the top floor if it's people that we know and we feel safe with? But if it's people we don't know, we don't let them in the house for now.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, if everyone here knows. Yeah, if everyone knows them.
Okay.
Well,
I think. Well, I mean, not everyone needs to know them.
It's gonna be hard.
Well, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah.
But like, because I don't know Vinny, but obviously you guys trust him, so I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, you guys get the point, though. So like, I feel like that's kind of where I'm. At the end of the day, I just want. So okay. My view on this whole thing without going is that this is a group operation. Everyone is out there making money to make shit this work and that we can scale it. And I'm personally never gonna do anything to jeopardize that because your time is as valuable to me as my own time. That's my point. And if you want to fuck around, do that, but don't do it where you're jeopardizing other people's shit. It's really that simple. That's how I see it. Is there anyone that disagrees with this or like want to do? Because like this is the time that we can talk about how we want to do shit.
I mean, I don't disagree.
Okay. And like, when it comes to you guys and your dirty money shit, is that an actual issue? Like, do you guys need to set up a system for that, or you guys chilling?
No. Listen, I trust Ming enough to. It's not a big issue, no.
Okay. Okay. I mean, yeah. I think we're all on the same page then. I just, I don't know. I really hate how fucking, how much a key matters. I really wish it wasn't like this, but it is. So we're just gonna have to deal with it. But yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. I mean, I think maybe for all the materials that we make, I'm gonna offload like half of it into the apartment. Then when we need to craft something, I'll bring it back here. Cause like it's too risky. Like someone can get one key and take everything.
So, okay. So we agree. So you're staying with us, AK, right?
Yeah. Listen.
Okay, listen.
I'm not. Yeah. Okay.
Look, I just want to say, to AK, you know, I fuck with you, bro. You know, you see one of my boys. I'll do anything for you, but I personally don't like when we have a hiccup and something goes wrong and someone threatens to leave the group over it, right? Listen, no matter what happens, I will have your back, right? It's just we gotta set that straight from now on. I don't like people saying I don't like people saying, oh, if this goes wrong, I'm leaving the group. That shit rubs you the wrong way, okay? You're either in or out. You gotta make that choice now.
That's fair, but I think you're misconstruing it a bit. It's not like I approached you once and I said, if this happens, I'm out. Like, that's not what happened. This has been brewing. It's not that simple, but I do agree with you on the principle. Like, okay, let me also this. If we have an issue and I try to talk about the issue with you and you, like, there's no movement at all, how do we resolve that situation?
Well, okay, but to be fair, we spoke about the other issue for maybe 20 seconds before you chose to leave, right? Like, I understand. Let's say we have an issue, and we have a meeting about it, and you still can resolve the issue. Then it's different, right? And then it's a whole different problem. But if it's an issue and there's been 20 seconds afterwards, and we haven't resolved it, it's been 20 seconds. You don't just threaten to leave after 20 seconds of a problem. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair. I don't really see it as a 20-second problem, but I do agree with you. Okay, my issue was that if let's say if I had someone random coming into the house and one of you guys come up and say, yo, AK, what the fuck you doing? Get this guy out of here. I'd be like, okay, I'll get this guy out of here and then we can talk about it. That's how I would have handled it, because you guys share the house with me, not him.
Yeah, and I agree. So at the time, obviously, I didn't see it as a big issue, but now that everyone spoke about it, now I can understand everyone's point of view. See, it just takes time sometimes. It's like something that happens instantly on the spot, right?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think, no, I agree with what you're saying. I just don't think it maybe is that simple. It's not really the way you're, or from my side, it's not really the way you're putting it forward. But I agree with what you're saying. You're not wrong.
Listen, that's when all of us, you know, just fucking work together and that's it. Like, it doesn't have to be so many fucking, you know what I mean?
The hell?
Bye bye.
Was it a threat?
No.